Welcome to another live with me, immigration lawyer Nicole Whitaker. We're here today with attorney Adriana Jimenez. Hi, Adriana.
Hi everyone. Hi Nicole. How are you?
I'm good. So, Adriana and I are both immigration attorneys from Whitaker Legal. Our office is based in Towson, Maryland, but we represent clients all over the country. We have consultations available Monday through Saturday. If you have an immigration question, you can put it in the comment box below. We'll do our best to answer the question today. Or if you'd like to schedule a consultation, you can reach us at 410-207-9272. We're live today on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And we're answering questions that our followers have sent in over the past month. So if we don't get to your question today, hopefully we'll get to it next time. Attorney Adriana Jimenez, she is the lead attorney in our office handling VAWA cases, T visa cases, marriage and family-based cases, consular processing cases, and a few other types of immigration cases. So she's an excellent person to be answering these questions with me today. So our first question is, I am a permanent resident with 2 DUIs. Can I renovate or renew my green card or become a US citizen? What are your thoughts, Adriana?
Yeah, definitely. I would make sure that you're not too close to your expiration date of your green card. If you are, go ahead and renew and get that out of the way so you don't have to worry about it. But you definitely want to be screened to see if you qualify for naturalization or citizenship, because you just have so many more benefits if you're a citizen. You don't have to worry about renewing a green card. You can travel freely. You don't have to come in any certain amount of time. So it's definitely a lot of perks to being a U.S. citizen. But you want to review your criminal history with an experienced attorney. The 2 DUIs may or may not be an issue. So reviewing those, if they're convictions, if you pled guilty or whatever ended up being the result, reviewing that with an immigration attorney to determine if you are eligible to apply and when you should apply. There's a couple of rules there depending on the conviction as to when you want to apply. And you don't want to apply too early and ultimately get denied and have to reapply and go through the fees and the entire process again. So definitely consult with us if you have that issue. We'd love to help.
Yeah. To schedule a consultation, you can reach us at our main line, 410-207-9272. We represent clients all over the country. We accept clients for consultations in person, by phone, and by video call. The second question we have from one of our followers is, the company that I used to work for didn't pay me all of my hours, and they definitely didn't pay me overtime. Adriana, what would be your advice or your thoughts on the situation for this follower?
Yeah, right off the bat, Nicole, what you think about is T visa. So, a T visa is a visa for people who have been victims of labor trafficking. And these are some of the red flags that come up whenever we do screenings for T visa. This is the preliminary step. And then when we dig deeper, ask more questions about the labor that was involved, the reasoning why they continue to work there, we start to find a T visa. And a T visa, you can get a green card and permission to live here in the U.S. for 3 years. I'm sorry, you can get a work permit and then permission to live here for 3 years and then away to a green card. So it's definitely a good avenue of relief if these are some red flags that you've experienced in a previous employment.
Yeah. T visas. So when we say T visas, technically the program T visa is for people who are victims of human trafficking. And a lot of times when you hear the phrase or the term human trafficking, you think of sex trafficking, people being like physically kept in cages or cells or locked away. And although that would count as labor trafficking, human trafficking, there are so many scenarios in which immigrants in the US are taken advantage of and make them eligible for a work permit and green card through the T visa. Some of the most common scenarios are what potentially this follower experienced: working for a boss or an owner of a company that mistreated you, tricked you, lied to you, made you feel like you couldn't take a day off of work, or quit the job because if you did, maybe they would report you to immigration or have you deported or blacklist you so no other employers in the area would hire you. Another scenario we see is where when someone first comes to the US, they're accepted by family members and living with aunts, uncles, cousins, or more distant relatives. They feel like you are there to kind of serve them almost like their slave, like you're indebted to them because they helped you come to the country. You wouldn't be here without them. And because of that, they require you to cook, clean, babysit, do other chores or housework around the house. Or maybe they own a business and you work for their business for little to no pay. You're not treated like a regular employee because they feel like you owe them because they're taking care of you here in the US. Um, Another common scenario is when people are smuggled into the US. The people that smuggle them into the US, or the coyotes, force people to cook for them, clean for them, carry backpacks or water for the group. Um, they might require them to serve as a guide or help smuggle other people into the country as part of their scheme. And a less common way that we see people qualify for the T visa is if at any time inside the US they were involved in a religion or a cult or another similar group that made them perform work or tasks or chores or even sexual acts that they didn't want to do, that they weren't comfortable with. But because of the power dynamics that were at play, or for whatever reason, they felt like they couldn't get out of that situation freely. So if you or someone you know has ever experienced anything like that in the US, even if it was many years ago, there might be a way that we can help you get a work permit and green card through the T visa. So give us a call. That was a long answer to our second question.
But it may apply to many people, and
Yeah,
that's the benefit.
for sure. I so many people come to us for consultations, just wanting to know if they have any possibilities, if they have any options. And the T visa, out of all the other immigration programs, is the one that, like, if there's an option, it's more likely to be a T visa based on someone's experiences in the US than anything else.
Yeah. And I feel like the T visa is less commonly known among the public. So they may not have any idea that this is available to them and
Yeah.
come in and have these kinds of scenarios.
Yeah, I think even among immigration lawyers, it's only until recently, within the past couple of years, that there's been a push for education among immigration lawyers to teach people about what the T visa is and what kinds of scenarios would make someone qualify for it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Our next question comes from a follower who asks, I'm 26 years old and they filed an application for me about 25 months ago. Is there something that can be done?
So right off the bat for me is 25. Well, it also depends on what kind of case is being filed. It's not really clear from the question, but the processing time. So there is a way on USCIS website that you can look up your processing times depending on your case type. That would be my first piece of advice, is to look at those processing times and see, are you still within those processing times? And if you determine that you're not within those processing times, go ahead and file a case inquiry with USCIS. You can do it right on the website with all of your information, but it only allows you to do it if you're outside of those processing times. And then you can some other options that you can seek out. You can ask for help from your congressional representative. That is helpful. And then lastly, you can file suit in federal court, file what's called a mandamus, which we handle, and we have seen a lot of success in those. And actually, Nicole, this morning that we got some feedback on one this morning where we filed for a work permit based on a U visa, and the client has already gotten it, and we filed mandamus pretty recently. I'd say in the last 2 months or so, maybe a month.
Yeah, that's great news. I think with all of the mandamus cases we filed, we have gotten decisions on our clients' cases within 1 to 3 months. And I think the longest we've ever had to wait was 6 months. And that was a case where the client needed to be interviewed by USCIS. And so it took a little bit more time to process. But these are cases where our clients, just like the person that asked this question, have been waiting years for their immigration case. And although there are things you can do, filing the case inquiry, getting help from your local congressperson, those things don't always do the trick. But filing a mandamus to expedite your case or finally get a decision is a sure way to finally get an answer on your immigration case. It might be an extreme step, but it's a sure way to get that closure and finally be able to get a decision from USCIS and move on with your life. And a lot of our clients just kind of sit in limbo, and it's super stressful not knowing where you stand in the country. Some clients are anxious to get status so that they can travel to go visit family back home that they haven't seen for many years. So I love being able to file the mandamus cases to get clients that answer so quickly after they've waited so long for immigration.
Yeah, exactly. The government does not like to be sued, so they move it along. And that's only to the benefit of our clients.
Yeah. The next question I have, and the last question I believe I have from one of our clients is, my husband is alcoholic and he's a narcissist. Is there anything I can do? I'm suffering psychological violence.
Yeah. First off, I mean, that is not a good situation to be in. So definitely seek help from loved ones, someone that you trust, or there are organizations out there that help people who have been, that are in these kinds of situations. So that's the first step. But for immigration relief, there are some programs that could be helpful depending on this person's status. So if their husband is a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, then they may be able to seek a self-petition through VAWA. VAWA is the Women Against Violence Act. I mean, the Violence Against Women's Act, sorry. And basically, it provides protections for people who have been victims of abuse, and that, abuse can entail all kinds of abuse: psychological abuse, which is what she's mentioned, physical abuse, sexual abuse, any kinds of abuse or domestic violence that you have gone through. You can
I'm not sure if we lost Adriana or if I am lost the Wi-Fi. Let's see. She's back. Sorry, I lost you.
That's okay.
You were telling us, I don't know if I lost you or you lost me. You were telling us about VAWA, the Violence Against Women's Act.
Yeah. So she has some options. If depending on what the legal status of her spouse is, if her spouse doesn't have status, and she's reported these issues, or it's risen to domestic violence, when she's reported it to the police, she might be able to apply for a U visa, and that's for people who have been victims of certain crimes, and domestic violence is one of those crimes. So even if he doesn't have status, there still might be options available to her. So I hope that she seeks help. It's very difficult, in the VAWA context. These relationships can be very complicated. There are different reasons why people remain in these kinds of relationships, and we're there to help whatever they may need, whether they remain in the relationship or they decide to ultimately leave the relationship. We can help with immigration relief.
Yeah. Good advice, Adriana.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are all the questions that we have for our followers today. Again, if you have questions for us, send us a private message, or you can respond in the comments below with your question for us to answer on our next live. In the meantime, if you have an immigration question or you'd like to consult directly with me or attorney Adriana Jimenez, you can give us a call at our direct line, 410-207-9272. Adriana, thanks for being here with us today.
You're welcome.
All right, and we'll see you guys all on